Hello and welcome to another video. I hope that you're all very well. Today I'll be talking about the indicators, in other words, the signals. Why do we have them? And more importantly, how do we use them? How should we use them? However, before I go on any further, I just want to say a big thank you to all our current subscribers, because without you guys, this video today would not be possible. If you're watching this channel and you're not a subscriber, well, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button right now so that you do not miss out on our future videos. Let's talk about indicators. The indicator is a simple device which allows us to communicate with other road users. It allows us to signal our intention to them. They are vital for safe driving. However, a signal which is misleading can be extremely dangerous. So if you are in a situation where you feel that your signal can be misleading, it is better to not to indicate at all in the first place. Before you communicate with someone, it's always nice to know who you're trying to communicate with. And this is the reason why we don't just check our mirrors, we want to check all the environment around us, so we know the situation and we know who's going to benefit from the signal or who may benefit from the signal. This is one of the reasons why many learner drivers fail in this area of their driving. They look at the mirrors and they see, oh, there's no cars coming, so a signal is not necessary. Or, yeah, there's a car coming, signal for that driver. Yes, you do have to indicate for drivers, but car drivers are road users, but so there are other types of road users as well. We've got motorcyclists, we've got bicycles, we've got pedestrians, including children. And we don't just look in the mirrors, we look front, we look back, we look front, and we look to our sides as well. I'm now going to take a few areas of driving and then explain to you whether we should signal or not, and if we should signal, when should we indicate. So since I'm parked up here, we'll start off with the moving off and the stopping. A lot of learner drivers, what they do, as I said, they look out for their 6-point check, but they're not actually absorbing what they're looking for. So it's important to ask yourself, who's going to benefit from the signal? Is there anybody that's going to benefit from my indicator? Whether it's pedestrians, cyclists, drivers, or anybody else. So straight away I can see a pedestrian in front of me, and I can see some vehicles, but they're very far away. So yes, I am going to indicate. When am I going to indicate? Not now. I'm going to prepare myself first. So the routine we use is POM: prepare, observe, move. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get the vehicle into gear. And I'm not even going to look around at the moment, because I've just noticed somebody coming from the back in the distance. While I'm waiting, I once had a pupil in a driving test who just got into the car and indicated, and like this now, the driver behind thought, you know what, I'm going to be nice to this person, and the driver slowed right down, flashed their lights, and my pupil was not ready to move off, and this driver got upset, horned, and then just drove off. So prepare yourself first. So I'm in gear, I've looked around, there's no pedestrians on this side, but there is somebody just coming on the pavement there. Looked over my right shoulder, into the side roads as well, so it's not just front and back, it's driveways and side roads. So there's a road on to my right there and a road onto the left, so just let this vehicle pass. If I'm just going to wait for these pedestrians because I don't want to frighten them. Okay, I'm ready to move off now, and there I go. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to be pulling up on the left, so I'm going to be stopping. So once again, the first thing I want to do is check my mirrors. There's no one behind me, but it's not, as I said, just behind. People in front, pedestrians, vehicles, needs to know what I'm doing. Now there is a junction here, so I'm not going to indicate at the moment. I'm going to pass the junction and then I'm going to indicate and pull up slowly on the left. Now I stopped quite quickly there because I didn't want to obviously stop before the junction, but I don't want to go too far forward because I've got the island in front, the central reservation. Now when I checked my mirrors at that stage, there was nobody behind me, but if there was somebody close behind me, I would not have stopped here, because I wouldn't be giving that driver enough time to react to my signal. If I indicated and suddenly stopped here, that driver may not have time to react, especially if they're not paying attention and I've got a chance of getting hit from the back. In that case, I would have gone a little bit further up and pulled up somewhere else. Next, we're going to move on to indicating at roundabouts. Now, a lot of drivers, and not just learner drivers, even experienced drivers, get confused with the indicators at roundabouts. However, I'm going to make this so easy, it's just going to be a piece of cake for you. Now, I'm sure that none of you struggle with indicating at traffic lights. Well, the approach to a roundabout is exactly the same. Let me explain. If you're turning left at the traffic lights, you would indicate left. The same with a roundabout. If you're turning left at a roundabout, you would indicate left on approach. If you're going straight on at the traffic lights, then you do not need a signal. You just simply carry on going straight. Well, it's the same with a roundabout. If you're going straight on at a roundabout, you do not need a signal on approach to the roundabout. If you're turning right at the traffic lights, you would indicate right on approach. In exactly the same way, you would indicate right on approach to the roundabout. The only difference is that at a roundabout, when you're leaving the roundabout, you need to give something called the exit signal. This exit signal is simply a left signal. So as you're leaving, or should I say before you leave, you give the exit signal. Now that you know the signals that you need to give, the timing of the signals, the exit signal especially, is very important.
For example, if you're going straight on at the roundabout, similar to the traffic lights, you would not indicate on approach. However, once you get to this stage, you would apply the signal. This is a stage where it's obvious that you're not turning left, and then you keep the signal on until you've exited the roundabout. For turning right, once again, it's the same as turning right at traffic lights. We indicate right on approach and leave that signal on throughout the roundabout until you get to this stage, at which point you check the mirrors and then indicate left, your exit signal.
If you're taking the fourth exit, as soon as you've passed the third exit, you give the exit signal. It's as simple as that. And mini roundabouts, they're even easier because there is no exit signal on the mini roundabout. So mini roundabout will be exactly the same as traffic lights. Turning left, indicate left on approach, no exit signal. Going straight on, don't need a signal. No signal on approach, no signal at exit. Same as the traffic lights. If you're turning right, indicate right on approach, and that's it. Same as the traffic lights. It's as simple as that. Well, that's the roundabouts covered. We're now going to move on to indicating at junctions, just normal junctions. Now, as a general rule, we should always indicate at a junction. Even if there's no one behind you, no one in front of you, no pedestrians, we should still indicate. The reason for that is because we don't know what's in the new road. There could be a vehicle approaching and they may benefit from your signal. So as a general rule, we should always indicate. The timing, once again, is very important. As a guideline, you want to be indicating for turning left, let's say about 6 car lengths, and for turning right, slightly earlier, maybe 8 car lengths, because we need time to position our vehicle. So I'm just going to go for a short drive, and we'll see if we can cover a few junctions. I'm going to be turning in the left into the first junction, and I'm going to prepare myself, all ready to move off. That's a van driver coming, just let him go. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to be turning left into this road. So I've checked my mirrors and I've indicated. So once again, even if there's no one there, we should always indicate. I'm planning to turn right at the end of this road, so I can see the end of the road, but I can't see any traffic, if there's any traffic coming or not. So about now-ish, I'm going to indicate right. I see a pedestrian there trying to fix his car. And I'm in the new road. Once again, I'm going to turn left. About 6 car lengths before. One thing you want to remember is, even though I've said, generally speaking, we indicate 6 car lengths before the junction, we need to be bearing in mind that there may be another junction prior to the one we want, in which case we cannot indicate until we've passed that particular road, because otherwise drivers, cyclists, pedestrians will think that we're turning into that first road, and it will cause them inconvenience. Now, if there's a car coming out from the side road that we're passing, that driver may be tempted to pull out in front of us. Now here, I've got to be very careful, because I don't want to indicate right to overtake this vehicle, otherwise people may think that I'm turning into the side road there. So in this case, I'm not going to give the signal. I'm going to be turning left at the end here. And another thing you need to bear in mind is to cancel the signal if it does not cancel itself. On most vehicles, the indicators are self-cancelling, but we do need to bear that in mind. Next, let's move on to indicating for parked cars. Generally speaking, we do not have to indicate when overtaking parked cars. And the reason for that is that our position will act as a signal to most road users. So if we did see a parked vehicle, most drivers will tend to move out 6 to 8 car lengths before they got to that vehicle, and everybody will know, yes, that vehicle is going to be overtaking the parked car. Furthermore, there's a risk that the signal can be misleading. Often there are junctions and people can think that you're going into these junctions. If you had to stop behind a vehicle because you'd stopped to give way to oncoming traffic, your holdback position once again will signal to other road users that you are holding back and giving way to oncoming vehicles, and that you intend to overtake the parked cars. However, it's still important that before you move off, that you do make full use of all your mirrors, because if you do see that there's somebody coming who may not realize that you're giving way to oncoming vehicles, or let's say you have given way to oncoming vehicles, then you need to put that signal on. Just emphasize the fact that yes, I am moving off to overtake the parked vehicles. If you're overtaking a larger vehicle, let's say a bus, then yes, I would say a signal is necessary. In fact, if you're overtaking a bus at a bus stop, I would say the signal is always necessary, even if there is no one behind you and there's no oncoming traffic and there's no pedestrians, because the bus driver may benefit from the signal. Maybe the bus driver is going to move off and then he'll see you coming, he'll see the signal on, and maybe they will back off. Well, unfortunately, that brings the video to a conclusion. I really do hope that you benefited from this video. If you have, then please give it a thumbs up and do consider sharing this with somebody else that may benefit. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.